Hello everybody and welcome to another tutorial in camera and lens repair. And this time I actually will continue with these Nikkor-P Auto 2.5 and it's a 10.5 centimeter. And as I said in the other video, the video before, that the aperture ring was quite stiff in a way, and I would like to do something with it. So and I would like to re-grease it. So it was simply because it's simply too stiff. So one need to use a lot of force to move it. So, but what do we need to do that? It's quite simple tool. A 2mm flathead screwdriver, a bunch of cotton buds, Isopropylalcohol 99%, or you could use lighter fluid. A cloth, kind of to wipe off the the rest of the old grease which is behind here. So yeah, let's jump into it. It will be quite easy. We also need some lube. It will be the grade 10 from Japan Hobby Tool. I will sooner try to with something try moly coat, but not for now. I just got it, but let's continue. I just make some notes about it because we need that. We simply need to set the aperture ring to something 22, up to 22. So it doesn't matter about it. The focusing ring is not the case here. And then we need to unscrew one screw here, which is sit with the opposite side of the 22. It will say here. This one screw we need to turn out, to unscrew fully, and then turn the aperture ring from 22 and 8 3/4 till it come off, and it will come off with the 22 in line with the aperture pin here. So 8 3/4 turn counterclockwise, and the it will come off here, almost in line with that. That's the correct thread. So yeah, let's go for it. You can just put the cap on, it will not do anything. I will not harm the back element. So off with the, set it to 22 on the aperture ring, unscrew this one long screw. As you can see, it's quite long. It goes against the aperture ring and continue into the aperture connection thing on the inside of the focusing barrel. I mean, in the focusing, the lens, the focusing body. Yeah, I think it calls that. Maybe I'm wrong. Now, this we just have to turn it counterclockwise, starting here, and it will say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I need to turn the 22 all the way over here, and it goes up to here where the aperture ring will come off. So it will be only a quarter turn. So we look, if we look here, it will come off something like so it is around there. As I said, yeah, it when I put it on here, almost in line with the aperture connection pin, it will find the correct thread, something there. Yeah, maybe it's a bit over something. I mean, if we look here, it will actually come off at, well, around almost, yeah, a bit over 2 o'clock. If we look compared to a watch. So it is, and this is how it looks inside, and you can see the old grease in here with there are notches here, and there's probably also a lot of dirt in here. And also on the back here, there is a lot of old grease here in the thread. The thread is quite fine, so take care of it. Now, I think to mention the aperture, which will be the aperture connection here, where the little screw is actually going into through the aperture ring here. It's quite thick here, so there will be a lot of metal for the thread. So I want this one to hold it there. I will not set a mark, but it's actually against the, I mean, almost in line, actually in line with the stop screw here. It could be different in your lens, but I would guess it's the same. So this is the locking, I mean the stop screw when you put it on the camera. So I will just put this on, the cap on again, and drop the aperture ring itself into the isopropylalcohol and give it some good cleaning, and hoping it can take away the old grease. Sometimes isopropylalcohol works pretty good, and sometimes you have to use I mean the lighter fluid. Of course, I also need 2 brushes, which I almost forgot. One brush here for the cleaning process, and one to actually add the helicoid grease. So this is much easier when using a cotton bud, but we could probably use it on the actual thread on the lens body. So we can just go on here and get all the old grease out here, so it will work much better. And then re-lube the aperture ring. So it seems to work quite good. I mean, this is just a small amount of I mean isopropylalcohol, so I would guess it's all fine for this short demonstration. And simply wipe away the rest of it, and it will be all fine. Take care of getting all the old grease, especially on the, not only on the thread but also on the back here of the inner. There could be some old dirt and things. So now it looks much better. So this is it. That's it. Yeah, fine. And now to the back of the of the thread here. I cannot use the too much because it will probably search into behind here, where the connection is. So I will just use a little amount of isopropylalcohol on a cotton bud and take most of it away. I think it will work pretty good in this case. And of course I could, but it will take very long time, and it's not really necessary in this case. It could be different, well, if something other should be, if I would re-grease the focusing helicoids, it would be another case here to fully disassemble the focusing system. But for now, it's not a quick fix because I will clean the old grease away, so it will work pretty good without doing too much. And as you can see, the thread looks like it will be okay. You see, sometimes it's not necessary to fully disassemble a lens, just to do some minor repair. So there. Also give it some on the back here, all the way around. There's really some old dirt. So the main thing is that the thread has to be clean. So now it turned out to be okay, and we can just use a last cotton bud to actually make it fine and nice. So, and there it is. Now we can just put this away. So next thing is to simply use some grade 10 grease, just a little amount, it doesn't have to be much. And I will simply add it on the aperture ring itself. Just make sure there isn't any small things, so just check with your finger that there isn't any small parts in here that could damage the thread. And it looks actually fine. Now, so we can just add a little grease on this ring, and there is also have to be something here on the notches here, just to make sure the click is nice and fine. Of course, the small hair so when I have add the grease, I will simply put on the aperture ring and give it some good movement all the way to correct position, and then screw it out again and wipe away the rest of what actually was too much. So, and then add it on again. We need to have the correct position, which will be aperture 22 here, and it will go almost again like here. This position has to say click somewhere, and it should be something there. It can be a little tricky. So it's on, and then I have to go up to 22. I started over here and a 3/4 turn, and then 8 turn. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And I can just move it a little so to really spread the grease, and simply unscrew it again. I know where I ended up, so I can just unscrew it without any problem. Click. So it is. And it seems like the grease has really come in where it should, and I can just wipe away the very tiny amount. Doesn't really be that much. So now it looks nice and fine. Or I can just yeah, that should be fine, not too much. And then I put on the aperture ring on again at the correct position. Go a little back and forth to click the aperture ring into correct position, and maybe you have to wiggle a little there. Click, and no, it's not correct. Don't turn it if it's not correct. You have to go back again into the and find the correct thread, and it can be a little tricky. But we found it, and then from here to there a 3/4 turn, and then 8 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So since I haven't moved the aperture inner ring, the screws should actually sit the same place when I screw it in. Take care of it. And if it meets some resistance, Well, you have to move the aperture ring a little, but since, yeah, you can see it moves a little, so we have to probably do some adjustment, small adjustment to it. It has to go in without any problem, and then it's there. Tighten it gently, and then, wow, much better, much better. And then you can see the aperture works again. And of course it's snappy as it should be, so that's all fine. So that's it. On with the cap, and so that's actually that. I hope you enjoy the content and can use the info about this lens. So that's all for me. Bye bye.